Hello, everyone. This is Cori and Curtis with C Squared, here to talk to you about all sorts of fun marketing, PR, and metal-related things.
Yes, and today, this is our second solo episode, fourth total, if I'm not mistaken.
Fourth is correct.
Yeah, we've been doing these since, I don't know what, Sunday, Saturday? Yeah, Saturday.
Saturday.
Oh man, my lights are flickering in the background now. So anyways, we're going to go over today about pitching, and it's going to be an awesome episode because Cori is a long-term metal journalist. She is the cream of the crop, the best of the best staff
Setting
writer.
that bar real high.
Exactly. Staff writer at Metal Injection, which is like the number 2 or 3 metal site in the entire world. So she knows what she's talking about. And I'm probably embarrassing the crap out of her with my accolades, but
just slightly, but you live to do that.
Yeah, that's right. And also, if anybody notices in my background that the lights are flickering, I don't know what's going on with my lights, but they just decided to flicker the second we went live. So don't pay attention to that. Just pay attention to the knowledge bombs from Cori. So Cori, let's start off with, okay, so number 1, bands when they pitch you. Where should they pitch you? Number 1, like what media?
So every metal website has a blanket email that all of, pretty much anybody can pitch to. It's not a problem. And we actually do check those inboxes. It's not like a giant black abyss of nothingness where your music goes to die. We actually do check those. And that's usually one of the easiest ways to find us and pitch us is to just go to the submit mail, either a contact form or there's an email address listed. Most of us, yes, what's up?
Well, first question I have, just to interrupt you on that. So you said it's not a black abyss. So why does it feel like a black abyss when we pitch to the direct, just to the all around email? Why does it feel that way?
2 reasons. 1, we get hundreds of them every day.
Okay.
And 2, a lot of the pitches that I get, the reason they're getting ignored is they're incomplete in some way.
Okay.
So they're missing something that I need to write a well-rounded premiere or feature for the band.
Okay, hold up, because now you're getting ahead. Now you're getting ahead.
Now I'm getting ahead.
Now you're getting ahead. So hold up 1 second here. So you say first pitch the generic email. So for example, in your case, it's like contact at Metal Injection or something to that effect. There goes my lights again. Contact
it's
at
submit
Metal
news.
Submit news or whatever it is. Yeah. So band sends a pitch there. So what if they tried to pitch via Facebook or Twitter or something like that? Is that going to be okay or what?
Usually I will reroute them to my direct inbox at Metal Injection, which is just, Corinne at metalinjection.com. I'll go ahead and throw that out there for people. And that way I don't lose anything. But the risk with that I've run into is a lot of those messages will get filtered to my message requests folder and I'll never notice that I have them.
Okay, fair enough.
So if you're going to DM somebody, I would recommend either using Instagram and making sure that you're following them so that it doesn't go to the request folder, or probably Twitter after that. Facebook, almost all of my messages that are from somebody that I don't know will get filtered.
At the Metal Injection Instagram particularly?
No, I mean, if you're reaching out to somebody personally, like.
Okay, personally.
Yeah.
Okay. But hold up 1 second, because I'm asking about, what about if they're DMing the site's social media?
That can work. But again, a lot of those, we get hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of those every day too. So yeah, if you can find a writer and message them directly, just being polite and, introducing yourself and stuff, it'll go a long way to get your stuff noticed if you're doing it direct.
Cool. Okay. So do you have a preference on people? I'm talking to you as a Metal Injection staffer, not Cori, the writer at the moment, because you run the social media. Do you check the email for Metal Injection too? No, right?
Yes, I do.
You do. Okay. So do you have a preference of which of those 2 would be the better to contact?
Email.
Email? Okay.
Email.
Now, okay. So now, why would it be email versus the direct message, just out of curiosity?
I prefer email because then I can flag the ones that, like really impress me so that
Okay.
I can make myself a to-do list.
Okay.
These are the ones I want to write about. It's a lot easier to keep everything organized in the email inbox than it is the Facebook or Instagram inbox.
Especially with the no longer being able to flag the unread messages. It's just fucking horrible nowadays with Facebook.
Facebook is a cesspool.
Yeah, it's awful. Okay, so the best place to pitch is email. Now, you mentioned next before we go on to anything else, because I know you got a lot of rants and raves you want to go on here. But
I'll do my best not to go completely insane.
No, I want you to go insane. This is gonna be fucking awesome. Okay, so anyway, so next up, so they send it to the email. What would be the correct way to intro themselves? Because I know I've seen some bands just go like, "Hey, war brother, what's up, bitches? Hey, motherfuckers." What would be the actual correct way to like a polite greeting from that, in your opinion, to the Metal Injection inbox? I know it's a dumb question, but it seems to be difficult.
No, it's really not. And honestly, just talking to me like I'm a normal person and not trying to be edgy or, seem, those always seem so fake to me when I get like the hey motherfucker or whatever. It seems really fake and ingenuine. So just talk to us like we're normal people, because we are.
Okay. So what would be,
just
like, give an
hello,
example.
hey.
Good. Cool.
Hello,
So hello,
hey.
Not what's up, bitches, not what's up, homie, nothing like that. So hey gets your attention first. So now next up, what is the thing that they should do to get the attention of Metal Injection when they send the pitch after the intro? What should be the next part?
One of the things is having a well laid out pitch, having it formatted in a way that is comprehensive and readable. I get some that it's like a black background and dark red text.
Nice.
I can't read that.
Nice.
And even if you're not using some sort of professional or, like an email service provider like MailChimp or anything like that, you can still lay out, nice paragraphs, full sentences, having it decently written to where that I understand what you're saying. That's going to be a thing that stands out to me, because it makes you look like you take yourself seriously when you put effort into making it look nice.
So just to clarify, because I mean, like me as a publicist, a lot of times I don't go into a lot of detail because I already know the person and I kind of know what I'm going to be pitching. But for a band, like, would it be beneficial to kind of say what your genre is in the first sentence? Yeah.
Yes, I would want to know in the first sentence, we are so-and-so. I want to know your name. I want to know where you're from. I want to know what style you play. And I want to know why you're pitching me, all in the first thing. So we are so-and-so. We're from Ohio or wherever they're from. We're a thrash metal band, and we have just released our first music video.
Okay. Or something to the effect of like, we are the Killers. We're from California, and we play new metal, and we're looking for a premiere on X date.
Yes.
Would that be okay? Not going into, like, you don't really care about too much other details at this point, correct?
At that point, I just want to know why you're emailing me.
Okay.
But farther down, getting into more detail is good.
Okay, but the first round, like, let's say if I'm a Joe band and I'm sending a pitch and I sent like a two sentence thing saying, "Hi, I'm Joe Killer from Anaheim, California. I play in the thrash metal band The Killers, and we would like to premiere our video blah blah at blah blah next week." Would that be a sufficient?
Here is the link.
With a link, yes.
Yes. Don't forget the links.
Yes. So with the link. Okay. So now, how often is it that people don't actually send you music when they pitch?
That happens a lot. People forget to send the links. It's an astonishing amount how many people forget to send links.
And how many people say, "Hey, metal sucks"?
I actually haven't gotten that one. Usually it's always like, hello person, or some other like placeholder word that they've forgotten to delete.
Yeah, no, I get it. Okay, so they've sent the pitch, and let's say, now I know you don't answer everyone because you can't ever answer everyone. It's just not going to happen. So how soon is too soon to follow up?
I would say give us, 5 days to a week,
Okay.
because it does take a while to get through all of those. And honestly, I will write about somebody without ever responding, and that'll get into something that I'll go into later
Sure.
of why your pitches should be really, really complete. Because like you said, I don't have time to respond to everybody.
Yeah.
So if I like something, probably 70% of the time, I'll just write about it
Yeah.
and call it a day, and then send them a link when it's published.
Yeah. Just for people, just so they know, like Corrine's done that to me, I think twice in the past without my knowledge, just like pick something up. And then later you find out, which is cool. So like when you send something out, make sure, like if it's a press release, it has all the relevant information in it. It's got a link to your video or whatever the heck it is that you want posted. The key thing is you have to be clear what you're asking for. Like if you just say something, for example, like I know a lot of bands when I used to write would just send shit and just say, hey, check out my band. And there's no info.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those and the hey, can I send you my music?
Yeah.
If that's going to the blanket email or the blanket inbox, it will get deleted and ignored.
Yeah.
Now, if you're reaching out to somebody personally, that's
Yeah.
a different story entirely, and it's a different beast.
Yeah.
But if you're going the cold call route, where if you don't know who you're reaching out to, it's a blanket inbox, or it's the main social media account and not somebody personally, just send it all.
Okay. Well, obviously you don't want that on a Facebook link, do you? Do you mind it on a Facebook link or no?
I don't actually mind when people send me things.
Okay.
Because I prefer to have it all at once.
Okay.
But still, Facebook is probably the worst place to send it.
Yeah, because there's a lot of spam filters there.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're saying it's about 5 days, 5 to 7 days to expect a reply. So if you actually have something that you need placed fairly urgently, you shouldn't be going to the main thing. You should be going to like Rob or Frank or somebody, or Greg or you.
Rob or Frank or Greg or me, we all have our own inboxes. So yeah, any of them. Rob and Frank are probably going to have the two most full inboxes.
Yeah.
So if it's more urgent, Greg or me.
Cool. And then it's always like, isn't it just like the first name and then at Metal Injection being the email? Okay, just clarifying for anybody listening if they do want to send a pitch. It's funny. Probably most people aren't going to know which name to put for your Metal Injection email. We shouldn't tell anybody.
Well, I already said it, so that if they pay attention, they will know.
Did you? Okay, then I wasn't paying attention. Okay. So band has sent the pitch. Okay, so next thing up here. So what format? Because publicists usually send Holics links, or they send like promo jukebox, that type of thing. So what kind of format should the music be sent in? Should it be SoundCloud? Should it be Dropbox? Like, tell us what the actual format should be.
Any of those will work as long as it's not an attachment.
Okay.
Attachments will get filtered. They'll get hit by a spam filter and your email will never get seen. So I don't mind links to Dropbox, SoundCloud, Spotify, wherever you want to link me, just make sure it's a link.
Okay.
I prefer YouTube personally.
Cool. That's what I was going to ask you. What's best? Now, if you're trying to get a premiere too, now correct me if I'm wrong, but I mean, I've had bands say to me, can you get me a premiere after the album's already been out? It doesn't work that way. Now, Metal Injection will not do older albums, right? And can you explain why that is?
Well, it's old news at that point.
Okay.
If that makes sense. We try to keep everything as current as possible. Yep. I mean, I've had some videos get premiered like 2 or 3 days after they've been out, but that's usually about it.
Yeah.
It's best to always send things as early as you can.
Cool. Okay. So then next thing, and then I'm going to get you to go into, I know you had a couple things you wanted to go into. Okay. So the next thing, am I covering most stuff so far?
Oh yeah, you're covering everything.
Okay, good. Just making sure I'm not missing anything. I know we're only a couple minutes into this, but okay. So then the next thing too. So they've emailed you, they followed up, they haven't heard back. How many times is too many to follow up?
I would say no more than 2.
2?
Because then you'll start to be annoying.
Okay. Cool.
Because yeah, like you've already pointed out, we're not going to be able to respond to everybody.
Yep.
And so sometimes no response is a response, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, usually what I do, just from a PR angle for anybody listening, and this may or may not be right, but what I usually do is I usually give the person 4 to 5 days to respond,
Mhm.
and then I'll do a follow-up. And then if I'll check my holics first, because I can see if they've actually listened to
Opened
it.
it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so I can actually look. So I can actually look, and if they haven't opened it, then I'll send a follow-up. If I see that they've opened it and they've listened to it and they haven't responded to me, 99.9% sure that they aren't interested. Although sometimes I'll follow up if the band really wants me to. But usually I'll wait 4 to 5 days, do a follow-up, and then wait another 3 to 4 days. And if nothing by that point, if I know the person, I have a good relationship with them, I'll sometimes DM them in between. But other than that, that's
Yep.
it. That's pretty much it.
That is a good best practice.
Yep.
But honestly, you know what? One thing I really wish bands would follow up and do, because this would actually impress me if I got this email.
Oh, I'm listening.
If somebody would ask me why they aren't getting the coverage, where they can improve. If a band actually went through the effort,
you're setting yourself
to
up for
learn that.
Uh-oh.
I would honestly be impressed if somebody wanted to take the effort to learn how to get better. I would give them some pointers. I may be slow. I may not be able to do it the same day they ask because my inbox is full. And as you pointed out on previous podcasts, I do have a full-time job and I work like 80 hours a week. But I mean,
you another 80.
This whole podcast and everything is all about helping people. So if somebody took the time to say, hey, I'm not getting any responses, do you have any pointers or feedback for me? I would be more than happy to give them a couple of bullet points of things that may help.
Okay.
But nobody's ever asked me that.
Okay. If you start getting a flood of emails asking you that, don't say I didn't warn you. So yeah. Okay, so moving right along now that Cori's set herself up for something.
I've set myself up for failure, but it's fine.
Okay, so now let's talk about when people DM the writer. So this can and also cannot be a pet peeve for people. Some people prefer to be DM'd. Some people hate it. Can you kind of tell me what the line is for you on when someone should DM and when they shouldn't DM?
If they've never spoken to me before, I would prefer if they didn't DM me, especially if it's something that I know is copy and paste and you're DMing to everybody.
Fair.
It's a bit annoying. If it's somebody who does know me, I really don't care. And if it's somebody that takes the time to introduce themselves rather than just copying and pasting, hey, this is my music, look at it. That'll actually go a bit farther with me too.
Cool.
But if they've emailed me several times and then start DMing me and then start, if they find my phone number and call my house, then it just gets like crazy.
Nice. You get messenger calls and stuff from people?
Messenger calls.
That'd be hilarious. Okay, so now just back to the DMing thing for a second. So now when you see someone obviously in a band has found you on social media and they've added you, does the alarm bells go off or do you really care? Okay, so can you walk through how to correctly approach a journalist on social media then?
Honestly, interacting with us. So this was brought up in a previous podcast, the one with Aaliyah, interacting with us in a meaningful way. So it doesn't look like you're just using us.
Yeah.
Because we're all real people. So I mean, making an effort to understand who we are it'll go a long way.
Well, give an example, because I mean that can get for me sometimes that can get a bit weird. I mean there's different things can you kind of go over what would be a good way of interacting with someone meaningfully without being weird and manipulative, if you know what I'm saying? People will do that. They'll be like, oh, you got such nice kids. They'll do that to me, right? You got such beautiful kids. They'll just randomly DM me and I'm like, what do you fucking want? And I'm sure you get the same type of thing,
Usually it's creepy, weird comments about my appearance that'll I'll get those, you're so lovely or whatever. And I'm like, just go away. But honestly, if somebody says, hey, I really loved your article on this band or showed that they were paying attention to the work that I do, that would go amazingly far. It's, pretty similar to how when you apply for a job, you comment something that you like about the company in your cover letter.
100%.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Like if somebody said, hey, I noticed you cover a lot of death metal bands. I really liked your piece on Warbell.
Yeah.
Here's my music. It's similar. Maybe you'll like it.
Cool. Or you covered a band similar to that. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So they reach out to you. So how often is it that so if someone just comes not after you, but you know what I mean? They
comes after me.
They don't come after you. But okay, so like, let's say they go to your Facebook, they've searched you out because you're a Metal Injection staff writer. They found you, they've added you as a friend, and they're trying to connect. So comment on your articles is what you're saying, or is there some other step in between before they make the pitch?
Honestly, if they went straight to commenting on the things that I do work-wise, that wouldn't bother me at all.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just
cool.
Just go for it.
Okay, cool. So so then now how do I want to put this?
And this is all my personal preference. So other writers probably have their personal preferences. This is just me.
We can go over this with Greg Kennedy next week or the week after too. So
yeah, he's probably completely different from me.
Well, he might be. Well, I don't know. But anyway, I don't know if anybody's going to be commenting on his beauty. But anyways, I mean, who knows? I'm going to do that to him next time. Greg, you look wonderful. Anyway, so what was I saying? So they pitch you, they ask you to premiere. You're not interested. Okay, you're not interested. So how is the best way for the band to handle the rejection? Because I've seen some bands go woohoo with this type of stuff. So what is the correct thing to do in your opinion?
So in my opinion, and this is just something that I've held onto for like my personal life, every no is extremely valuable. And more people are going to tell you no than are ever going to tell you yes. Learn from the no's. Learn why people are telling you no. It's exactly like what I said with people, getting ignored, asking, hey, what can I do to improve? Every time you get a no, take that reasoning and run with it and learn how to improve in some way. Like one of the big reasons I won't premiere something is if the mix is off. There's something weird about the way it's not the song itself, it's the way it's mixed.
Yeah.
So if somebody says, hey, this is just a little off, go and learn, things about production and things about how to improve that so that you don't get that response again.
Fair. Now, one thing I do want to point out too is that a lot of people don't understand is that the writer is not the final stop for the premiere or for the article.
That is true.
Yeah. So I mean, I've had it many times where the writer is okay with it. And then the final, I mean, it's Rob that is the final okay on anything.
Yep. We all have a boss, so everything has to go through them.
So now now how do you handle it when you get a premiere? Do you respond back after you hear back from Rob, or do you respond first? Okay.
I never respond until I get it approved.
Okay, cool. So
one way or the other. I mean, until I get an answer that I can actually give them an answer, because I never want to get anybody's hopes up and then let them down. So I don't tell them until I know.
No, that's fair. So now how what's the kind of turnaround time between somebody pitching you and you being able to get clearance through Rob or not getting clearance through Rob? How long is that usually, that time frame, give or take?
It usually depends, but it can take a couple of days to get things approved and scheduled. But it'll also kind of depend on how far out it is. So obviously something that is premiering in a month and a half, I'm not going to be able to get it approved the same day because there's really no rush. He's got other priorities and other things to approve. So
of course. Okay. So, but it doesn't take necessarily that long. I'm trying to give people an idea of how long beforehand they should pitch you. Should it be like a week, 2 weeks?
So I can handle anything between, a week or longer. Pitching early is always best.
Yeah.
And so as early as you can, that way we have time to get everything through the whole process. So I usually like a couple of weeks. That's my personal preference. Yeah. It's not too early to where something will get forgotten. and it's not too late that I won't be able to get it approved in time.
Totally. Okay, so now let's say the band, so let's say they do a premiere, because you're not, I want to point out, you're also not the reviews editor. There is a separate reviews editor.
Yes, there's a separate reviews editor.
Metal Injection. I think it's Cody, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
That has to approve all the reviews. So if you want to review, you don't want to go to Cori, you want to go to Cody. Cody is the one that you want to go to, or go to Rob, who will probably pass it to Cody, if I'm not mistaken. Right?
Yes. All of it gets passed to Cody to get scheduled.
Yeah. Okay. So that's another thing I want to point out, is the importance of knowing the right person. Yeah, the right person. So can you kind of cover that a little bit on how would you find out who the right person is to contact?
Generally, it's all listed on our website, who does what. You can also kind of tell by what we write.
Fair.
The vast majority of what I write is premieres. So you know that I'm probably a good person to write, or to reach out to.
Probably.
Probably a good person to reach out to for premieres, because if you look at my history, that's what I write.
Yep.
But like Cody and everybody, they're all listed on our website under the contact tab.
Cool. Okay, so all right, so band comes to you for premieres. They go to Cody for reviews. They go to Greg for reviews. Cody for reviews. Greg for news. Rob is the overall boss. Okay, so now let's say some. Can you give some of the things you wanted to specifically go over? Because I think I got most of my questions answered.
So, well, we mentioned earlier, like, one of the big reasons why bands will get ignored is missing pieces in their pitches.
Yep.
So I think the biggest missing piece that a lot of bands forget to include, or either that or they don't have one, is a bio. So after you tell me, your name, your genre, where you're from, and why you're reaching out to me, I want to know who you are. I want to know more about you. That way I can, write an informed piece. Yes.
But that isn't needed until after the approval, correct? Or do you want
Not necessarily.
Okay, you want it in the first email then.
I want everything right away. You cannot send me too much information. I mean, you can, but I want to know everything that I can, so that I can just write a piece, and I don't have to ask and then wait. And then again, this is if somebody's reaching out to the blanket email address. If somebody's coming to me personally and it's somebody that I know, then I'll be like, hey, yeah, this is interesting. Tell me more. But if it's somebody coming in cold that I've never heard from before, tell me everything. Tell me your bio. Tell me where to find you on social media. Send me all your social media links. Just send everything that you can. That way I can write a piece and move along.
Okay, this is interesting, because usually, not always what I do personally, usually I'll gauge the interest. I'll put the song or the video or whatever the heck it is. I won't necessarily include the bio, but sometimes I will include the Holics info. I'm glad you're telling me this, because sometimes people like that. Some people don't like this. So I do want to point out, it is sometimes different for depending on who the person is.
Like I said earlier, this is just my preference. I like to get it all up front.
No, that makes sense. Okay. Well, you also mentioned that sometimes you won't respond, but you'll just post the whatever the heck the thing is. Okay. So also I want to point out one thing, that Cori does like 4 to 5 articles a day versus another person that'll only be doing like 1 a week or 2 articles a week. So it might be a little bit different on your end at the same time. Like,
I have a lot of stuff I have to write. So I don't always respond. I'll just write what needs to be written and go. So for me specifically, it's best to just give me everything up front.
Okay, fair enough. So, so I was going to ask a question, but I realized I had cut you off, so I'm going to let you continue.
Now I forgot where I was, so ask your question.
Okay, well, my next question is, so now you mentioned the other day to me that people are always pitching you wrong genres. What is the way to find out the correct genre to pitch to the writer, in your opinion?
If you look at our past work, you can see the theme of what we like to write about. All of us tend to write about a little bit of everything, but we all have our preferences. Like mine, I'm definitely on the more extreme side. I like death metal. I like black metal. I like things that are pretty technical and theatrical. melodic death metal, all that kind of stuff. And you can see that by what I write about. And
Yep.
you can see that by the bands that I write about. Yeah, there's some, one-offs that aren't that, but
Yeah.
those are my general preferences.
Fair enough. Okay, so then now next thing I wanted to go into is, so like if someone pitches you, for example,
Mhm.
and you turn them down, should they go to a different metal injection writer, or is that a dumb idea?
Chances are they will probably get the same response from a different metal injection writer, or no response at all.
Why is that? Just out of curiosity. I know
The other
reason.
writers are, well, I could be wrong actually. You know what? I could be very wrong
Okay.
on that one.
Okay. But if Rob turns
But
it down, it's dead in the water, correct?
yeah, if Rob turns it down, it's done.
Okay, cool. That, I mean, that was basically what I was meaning, is like, if assuming you
Yeah.
got it, they pitched you liked it, you came back like, no, don't go to another
Mhm.
writer, basically, unless I guess it's Greg or Frank, I guess would be the only other people that might, maybe, other than Rob.
Yeah.
Okay, so then okay, so if it's not, so if you turn them down, does that mean like there's no other chances for future premieres for that album, or is it
No.
just that one thing?
It's just that one thing.
Okay.
I mean, you can always feel free to pitch us again. Like I said, I really appreciate it when a band tries to learn and improve.
Mhm.
So if they've learned and they've improved on something, then by all means try again. Don't give up. Just because somebody told you no, don't give up. That's like the worst thing you can do.
Cool. Okay, so we're gonna do a couple. We're gonna get the Cori rant now. So
The rant.
the Cori rant. She's gonna come out with the big rant now. Okay, so what is the worst, absolute worst? Don't name names, obviously. The worst example of a type of pitch that you have ever received to premiere, write about something or anything in your long distinguished career at Metal Injection.
So the worst ones that I get
Mhm.
are the ones that are, hey, we're so and so, we're a death metal band. If you want to know more, reply back.
I hate that.
I hate that.
Yeah,
I absolutely hate that because
Yeah.
you've given me no incentive to reply back to you other than your name and your genre.
Yeah.
You've given me no music, no bio, it's usually like that, those one sentence things, no link to your Facebook, no link to your YouTube.
Yeah.
Those are I'm like, nope.
Yeah.
Those are the worst.
So you get
Those
stuff like, so you get like, can you premiere my band? And there's no link. They don't even say who they
Yes.
are. Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
I get those and they're terrible.
Yeah.
Um,
So, well, how do you respond to that? Like, are you
I don't.
nice? You don't? Okay.
I don't. Honestly, if somebody can't put in the effort to at least link to who they are, then I don't have the time.
Yeah. No, I get it. Okay. So, all right. And then what's the rudest example of a pitch that you have received? Rudest.
Honestly, I don't get really rude ones so much as I get creepy ones.
Oh, okay. What's the creepiest one you've ever had then? Let's hear
It's
the
the
creepiest.
ones where they're always like, oh, you're such a lovely, just where they get all like overly complimentary about the way that I look, trying to like flatter me into writing
Your
about
eyebrows
them.
are so beautiful.
Your hair is just so, just no. It's when they start to go like really creepy or get like sexual about things, and
I
it
can't believe
just is
people actually do that.
gross and no and go away.
And one thing I do want to point out again is if the person has kids, do not mention their kids, please. It is
Yes.
weird
And creepy.
and creepy. And I know it's not usually not intended to be, and I don't know what it is, but when people that I don't know start complimenting me on my kids, I start going, get away. There's no.
I've known you for a couple of months and I don't think I've ever even commented on your kids. So
I think you like the picture with my kids, but other than that, that's not weird though. Liking the picture.
yeah, that's not weird.
That's not weird.
I
But like
mean,
Matt Bacon, our good friend Matt Bacon, would frequently mention my kids, and me and him always got into fights about the mentioning of the kids. So
yeah, kids are off limits. Don't do it.
I'm going to put a shout out to Matt Bacon in the show notes. Just kidding. Love you, Matt. So anyways, so don't talk about the kids. Don't talk about the person's family either, I would say. Would you not
Yeah,
agree on that?
family, kids, appearance, just, yeah, avoid
Okay.
all of those.
Cool. So what would be something that they should mention if they're trying to, other than music? So like some people get a little bit weird about just going in there with the music. I don't know what it is, but what would be something that would connect with you, for example, other than just music, and obviously not talking about parents, kids, family members, blah, blah. What would be something that would be good to connect with you on, other than Lord of the
Um,
Rings?
like, what do you mean? Like,
Well, should they
so,
like if they saw that you got, like, for example, I know that you got Star Wars stuff.
oh, yeah,
I'm
nerd
just
out with
trying to,
me.
okay, cool. I was just trying to
Yep.
find out, like, is that appropriate to talk to a journal? I'm trying to lead you here.
That's totally fine. I've had people, a couple of people who've seen the podcast with Aaliyah comment on my Lord of the Rings background. So yeah, feel free to nerd out with me. You can talk to me about cats. I just, hey, cats are awesome.
They are awesome, but they're also jerks half the time. Okay, so what else do we want to cover, Cori? There's more stuff, I'm sure. We got like 10 minutes left.
So complete pitches. I've already told you the bio. Also
Yep.
include all of your social links. And the reason for that is if we're going to share it, we want to be able to tag the bands when we share it. And if we don't have your social links, then we got to go hunting for you. And it's just a big thing. What?
Oh,
You have your hand up.
One question I frequently get asked is, why does the site not always share a link to the premiere or the article? Why is that? Do you know the
Well,
answer?
on like Facebook?
Yeah, on Facebook or
So
Instagram.
that one, it all has to do with how likely it is to get clicked on, basically.
Okay.
So an article about Corey Taylor is going to get clicked on.
For sure.
So unfortunately, we can't share absolutely everything that we do on social media. But everything we do share on social media is meant to drive traffic to the website, which will then get your article seen.
Okay.
That's the whole thought process behind it.
How does a band, okay, so if a band, how does a band, how do I want to frame this? How can a band get more likely to have the post shared on socials than by Metal Injection than not? Is there a method other than clicks?
By having a strong social media presence themselves. So
Okay.
build that community around your brand, your band. So yeah, engaging with your fans, getting people fired up whenever there's news about you, that will make it more likely.
And how, now that's actually bringing me to another question I forgot to ask you, which is, do you ever look at the band's social media prior to agreeing to do a premiere?
Every time.
Every time? Okay, so
every single time.
What are you looking for?
I just want to get a picture of who they are and
Okay.
make sure, they're not like gross people or something, but more often than not, it's really, I'm just trying to understand who they are and what they're about and what they do.
Okay.
And usually
the
numbers don't matter to me.
Okay, cool. That was a specific one that I was wondering. To you personally, they don't matter, but to others.
To me personally, I don't care if you have 30 followers.
Okay.
Or 3 followers or 30,000 followers. If you send me a good song, I mean, I'll consider it. Your followers don't necessarily matter. Now they'll matter to getting posted on Facebook.
Okay.
If you don't have a strong social media presence, you're probably not going to get posted.
Yeah.
But you can still get written about, even if you're teeny tiny.
Yeah, and that's still huge because the traffic just for the site itself, I think, is almost, it's nowhere near the Facebook numbers, but I mean, still, for a small band,
it's still pretty massive.
Yeah, for a band to get featured there, I mean, you're looking at some decent clicks. So, okay, so what else do you want to cover on pitching that we haven't covered?
So we've covered paying attention to genre, right people, completing your pitches.
Yeah.
Never including attachments.
Don't say
always
hey, bitches,
including a band photo.
Oh.
Okay. I cannot post an article without a photo. So if you don't link to a band photo, at least have something out there that I can find.
Let me ask you this, because in the pandemic, it's been harder to get photos for some bands. So some bands actually can't get the photos. Can you use a logo or like an album cover instead? Because I've actually had that happen.
Yes. I can also use a screen grab from a video. If you've done like a lyric video or something like that, I can use a screen grab from that. Just some sort of photo.
Okay, cool. All right, what else do we need to cover?
I think that's pretty good coverage right there for, gives people some good tips on what to do
I
to
agree.
hopefully get them some more coverage.
I agree.
I say that word a
So
lot.
what,
So you
coverage?
say cool. Yeah, you say cool a lot. I
Well,
say
cool.
coverage a lot.
Yeah, we do. I know Jamie said that the other day that I said cool like 30 times in the podcast. Okay, so the next couple of days we got some great guests coming up. So let's just kind of talk about that. So we got Jessie May showing up on Wednesday. That's tomorrow.
Mhm. That is
Then
tomorrow.
we got Blasco showing up on Friday. We got Lindsay Schoolcraft showing up on Friday. We got Trevor Strinad showing up next month. We got Bradley Zordrager. I can't say his fucking name. Sorry, Bradley. Near the end of the month. Who else do we got? Who am I forgetting about? We got a lot of people.
We have a lot of people. We have Corinne Catiar from Bloodywood, who's going to be
That's
here
right.
on Sunday.
Hair Knox.
Hair Knox. Yep.
Who else? Let's do a couple more shout outs. Are we both going blank?
Geez. We have a full schedule,
Yeah.
to be honest. So I am like, who are we missing?
I don't know. I guess it's not important right now. We'll figure them out. But so if we missed you, we really apologize. But if you do want to guest on the podcast and you are an important person that Cori wants to speak to, because Cori is the final stop on all these people, not me, obviously. So if you're someone that wants to be on the podcast, contact her, sweet talk her, because obviously she's going to be the one to say yes or no. Other than that, and we're trying to get Michael Sweet.
We are trying.
We're trying to get Michael Sweet. Are you going to be excited if we get Michael Sweet?
Fingers crossed. I'm excited for all of this.
Do you even know who Michael Sweet is?
Yes, I know who Michael Sweet is. And yes, I would be excited, but I am excited for all of this, to be honest. This is a whole new adventure for me. My 4th podcast total ever in my life. So it's been a blast.
One more thing I want to cover too is we got the 13-day PR challenge, which starts this coming Monday. Cori's going to be an instructor for 2 days. I'm going to be an instructor for 2 days. Gaia Ward is going to be an instructor for 2 days. Jessie May is going to be an instructor for 1 day. Monica Strutt's going to be an instructor for 2 days. Keith Chachkees is going to be an instructor for 2 days. Did I forget someone?
Did you get both the Keiths?
No, well, Morash isn't teaching. He's just helping with the
he's just
admin.
helping.
Yeah, he's helping with the admin because he's got like 50 kids and works like 80 hours a week on top of the 50 kids. So we got all those people teaching, and we're going to be giving you short, actionable steps daily on how to how to get yourself ready for PR. So we're calling it the PR challenge, and it's name your price. I'm going to drop a link in the show notes to this, and it's going to kick ass. And on top of that, follow Cori at Metal Injection, also on her Twitter. She's already tripled her followers in the last 3 days since she's become super famous with the podcast. And follow her. What else do we want to say?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, that's
stay metal. Have fun. Make good choices.